Hey you guys, today I want to share a few fall DIY projects that I've been doing around the house, and the first one I want to share is this centerpiece. For this centerpiece I grabbed some potpourri, a topiary bush, a huge vase, and some flowers that I bought years ago from Hobby Lobby. First I just sat the topiary bush down in this vase, and I did pick this vase up from Goodwill a while ago, and then once I had it down in the vase I just took handfuls of the potpourri and I started to place that around the topiary bush so that it looks like the topiary bush is growing out of the potpourri instead of just sitting down into the vase. Now I'm taking the shorter of the pieces of the bushes that I got from Hobby Lobby, and I'm actually sticking these down into the topiary bush, and I'm just putting these in sporadically until I like the way it looked. And then the taller pieces from those flowers, I'm sticking those into the topiary bush as well. And then I kind of bent the taller pieces so that it kind of has a waterfall effect on the centerpiece. I wanted it to look kind of whimsical, if you can imagine that in a bush. And I really liked this because it looks really good on this table. And I wanted it to be really tall, and it's kind of hard to take a picture of it, but this is what it looks like. I also did a total tour of this table, and I'll link that video down below. The next thing I worked on are these leaf napkin rings, and I really like these. I couldn't find any, so I decided to make them myself. And I got these maple leaves from the Dollar Tree, and I also got these napkin rings from the Dollar Tree. And what I'm doing is I'm just taking the leaf, I'm putting it down flat up against the napkin ring, and I'm wrapping the stem of this leaf around the napkin ring. I'm making sure to crisscross the stem on the front of the napkin ring and in the inside. This is what it looks like. You hold it very flat on top of the napkin ring. Then you just fold the stem inside the napkin ring like this so that it's just folded. And then at the front you crisscross the stems. This is actually really important that you make sure that the stems are crisscrossed on the outside of the napkin ring, and you want to make sure that they're crisscrossed inside the napkin ring like this to secure it. If you don't crisscross the stems and you just wrap the stem around, this is what it will look like. The leaf is actually going to stick up from the napkin ring, and as you can see in the back, I didn't crisscross it. I just kind of wrapped it around, and this is what your finished project will look like. It's just going to stick up from the napkin ring instead of sticking with it and being flat. To go along with the napkin rings, I also made some napkins. Well, they are kind of napkins. I had these burlap banners that I got from Target, and I didn't really have any use for banners, so I thought I would make napkins out of them. So what I did was I just cut out all the triangles away from the string that made it a banner, and then I took a Sharpie marker and I drew in the circles that were already there, but I made them black. And then I went through and I colored in the straight lines that were like gold and silver, and I did 2 of these stripes with the black Sharpie, and this is what they looked like. It's 2 of those, and then I did 4 of them with the polka dots, and I used the black Sharpie to make these. And then all I did was I rolled them up, and then I put these into the napkin rings and I put them on my place setting. So there are the striped ones, and here are the polka dot ones, and I also made gold and silver napkin rings. The next thing I did was a monogram wreath. I've been wanting to have a monogram wreath forever, so I decided to go ahead and do it. For this project, I picked up an L from Hobby Lobby. I got this wreath from Dirt Cheap for about $2. I also got this paint from Walmart. I think it was 97 cents. And I found this scarf which has chevron print from the Dollar Tree, and I have a paintbrush. The first thing I did was I put down some newspaper on the counter, and then I'm getting ready to paint this L. I'm just using the paint that I got with the paintbrush, and I'm putting on 1 coat of paint, and I'm going to let the first coat dry, and then I'm going to add another coat of paint. It didn't take much to paint this, and this paint is actually pretty good. I'm not really sure what the name of it is, but it's a pretty good paint. It went on really smoothly. And while the paint was drying, I took those ugly flowers off of that wreath, and I'm preparing to put on some different ones. I decided to use these white flowers that I already had and the leaves here that I also already had. Now I'm just unceremoniously removing the leaves from the stem, and I'm putting some hot glue on the end of the leaves, and I'm sticking them into the wreath. That's it. There is really no rhyme or reason to this, but that's what I'm doing. I just removed them and I put some hot glue on the stem of the leaf, and then I'm just sticking that right into this wreath. And that's the reason that I chose this wreath, is because it has like that woodsy look, and I can just stick things into it and no one is the wiser. So I decided to go ahead and do it with this. Now that I have the leaves situated, I'm just reinforcing them with a little more hot glue. Here, once again, I'm pulling the flowers off unceremoniously from the stem, and I'm just putting hot glue on the back of the flower, and I'm pressing it in firmly into the wreath. I'm going to do this over and over until I get the look that I want. I think I used about 6 or 7 flowers from the bouquet. I used all the flowers, I know that for sure, and I think it was maybe 6 or 7 on there. I got these flowers from the Dollar Tree, in case you're wondering, and I got the big leaves from my parents' store. So you may be able to find these somewhere else, but those flowers are definitely at the Dollar Tree, and I've had them for a really long time. That's what it looks like with the flowers on the side. And now I'm just taking the L after it's been drying for a few hours, and once I figure out where I want to put it, I'm just gonna put on a huge amount of hot glue. This is just a little bit of how much I put on. After I filmed this, I put on more. So I put on a lot of hot glue and I let it set, and now I'm taking my scarf and I'm just going to wrap this around the top of the wreath, and I'm going to do my best at making a cute little bow. I'm not the best bow maker out there, but I did the best that I could, and I think it came out okay. I didn't want to glue the bow on there because I want to kind of take this from season to season, and I don't really think I'm going to want to leave this bow on there year round, because I like it, but I don't really like it all that much. So here is what it looks like on our door. It's really cute for fall time, and I like the way that it came out. The next thing I made was a pumpkin patch with this cute little scarecrow. What I used was a planter from the Dollar Tree. I also used some floral foam, some faux moss, and a bunch of faux pumpkins. So I'm just putting the floral foam down in the planter. I'm not gluing it in or anything. I just put it down in there. And then I put the faux moss on top of that. And I just spread this around to cover up the foam. Then I just added a couple of pumpkins, and for a little pop of cuteness, I added this scarecrow to my pumpkin patch, and I thought that it came out really cute. I love the way that this looks in our kitchen. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos if you are not subscribed already. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.